Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zach. Today I'm going to be talking about NIO. So this is an update to my previous series on this amazing stock. Now this is one of my long-term stocks, so it's going to be more of an update, but nonetheless this will be a standalone and give you an idea of the company's operation and what is yet to come. Now I'm going to go briefly through technical analysis and then news and anything I could find that is new about the company. So let's jump right into it. Now on a 1 week perspective, what we get to see here is an MACD that really shows strength. Nothing new, it's just it bounced right back up. Volume is actually increasing, and that's a bullish sign. 80x, this is one of the highest I've ever seen, 74.90. Usually they don't go past 60, they usually see a pullback, but this one is defying all odds. It really reminds me of Tesla's massive run as well. Now, William percent R shows that the stock is overbought, and then we're looking at William percent R, momentum that shows incredibly strong momentum with a really bullish moving average. Now, on the 1 day perspective, what we get to see here is that it attempted a negative reversal on the 28th and then basically got rejected and then bounced right back. Now, the MACD looks like it's actually a little bit struggling. Now, this is a bearish sign and then followed bullish sign. Volume is decreasing from 1 day perspective, but bearish, a little bit bearish. 80x shows in a potential of a trend stopping anytime soon. William percent R is going back from overbought, going into a little bit towards the territories of sell-offs, and the momentum seems to be slipping down. Now, moving averages still look bullish. Let's take a look into the moving average bands here. We get to see on the top it's expected to trade at 28.38, middle 25.80, and 23.22 on the bottom, and we see it's already passed on there. Now, stochastic pass and slow. They both are really up high, so you do expect that perhaps at any moment this one can dip, but it really shows in that is unlikely with this massive uptrend that really shows strongly. Previously, I created this channel to show you a little bit onto where I think it's going to be trading. Now, this channel seems to be a little bit adjusting now towards something where it looks a little bit more interesting. The current channel really looks up, or you have a channel that kind of eradicated from this channel here. And so when I say that, I'm looking at something very similar to this here going on. And so, into all technicality, the stock is expected to trade between 28.71 on the top, middle 24.96, and on the bottom 21.16, but it broke that channel and kind of created something very similar to this. Meanwhile, this does show two single tops and two bottoms, or 3 points at the bottom. I extended it from this range here. So you do kind of expect for it to continue this uptrend and oscillate upward. So it really looks bullish from that point. Now we can take a look into supports and resistances, but the resistances are very clear. You kind of have the 32.20 and then followed by that 31.38. Now the supports are what I'm interested in. So the current support sits at 30.76, below that the $30 mark, below that 29.22, and below that we're looking at 28.14. And then 26.58, 25.40, and then all the way down to 22.59, and followed by that 20.53. Now let's take a quick look into news. NIO business update and delivery updates. NIO delivered 4,708 vehicles in September 2020, an increase of 133.2 year-to-year increment. Now, NIO delivered 12,206 vehicles in 3 months, ended September 2020, increasing by 154.3 year-over-year. NIO delivered 26,375 vehicles in 2020 total, which is also an increase of 113.7 year-over-year. Now, that is quite exciting. Now, we're yet to actually get to learn about the E6C6 deliveries that it just began to put them out in late September, and so we still have September and October to look at into the EC6. Now, in terms of as of September 30, 2020, cumulative of ES8, ES6, and EC6 is 58,288, which is a really nice milestone that they're hitting. Now, of course, we do have a massive milestone that the company itself has delivered, which is the 5,000 car that was manufactured per month. So this is a maximum, this is the highest ever they reached in terms of month to month. in their Hefei production. So that is quite exciting. And we get to see, well, yeah, the 5000 car is an EC6, which just began production, which is expected to have really good numbers there. And if you're investing in NIO or interested in investing, I definitely recommend that you give them a follow on here on Twitter. You get to see a lot of updates. I mean, this was not even an SEC filings. This was merely just a Twitter news. Next thing comes up is basically the NIO hitting the big milestone. This was on investors.ca or Investor Business Daily, and it kind of basically talks about how China has a massive increase in terms of their EV industry, with the competition that intensifying, and that local EV manufacturers are competing with Tesla at the moment in China. Now, when we were looking into latest SEC filings, I can't find anything past October 2nd, so that is something to look at. October 9th was their official open in Hefei for their office, and it comes in towards their blog. Nothing significant comes out of it. Now, the next earning date, we're looking probably all the way from what we've seen before, usually reported somewhere in December. That is something to consider. We still have time. This diagram here I really wanted to show. It's from Bank of Canada, and it shows you the increase in EV sales that is expected. Now, for 2015 to 2018, you can see it's almost parabolic, which is amazing. And you get to see from 2017 to 2029, we're expecting to see a really massive increase of EVs hitting the street. And that shows you basically the investing potential for companies at least like NIO, Tesla, so it helps the entire market. Now, the thing that I want to focus on is China's increase. And I'm going to go as well a little bit into further details onto this, but we can also see the market by 2025 is going to be parabolic in China. Now, the next thing we're looking at is basically the global passenger EV sales forecast to reach 6.2 million by 2024, which is a massive increase from the current demand. They say we forecast global lithium demand to increase by 91%, which shows as well that, well, with the increase of EV, you're going to be looking at lithium. So another thing you want to consider, if you're very bullish in the EV market, you might want to consider EV stocks. Now, the next thing we're looking at is China's increase year per year for the current light EV penetration rate. And you get to see we're sitting right now at 0.69% per annum, compared to 28% per annum for European Union and 46% in the States. In this diagram here, I pulled it from IAA.org. It shows the vehicle to grid potential variable renewable capacity relative to the total capacity generation requirements and sustainable development scenario by 2030. And you get to see that China actually surpasses the States by almost double for the peak capacity and the off-peak capacity in the grid in terms of China. And so the potential there for EV market has a lot of potential by 2030. Now, there's a lot of spending, there's a lot of push towards localizing as well in China, and you know, if perhaps in the future a lot of different companies, for instance like Tesla and whatnot, you get to see that they're actually moving their production for the EV because China has massive more sales. I mean, when you think about Tesla's new factories, where was some of the new factories that they put? They put factories in China, for instance, instead of let's say focusing on their major factors on Europe, for instance. And that is because there's a massive demand in EV industries in China. So NIO, in a nutshell, has a lot of potential. And this is one of my long-term investing stocks that I did mention all the way back somewhere around here. And in terms of a PT, it's hard to get a PT. This one will rally and rally on. And if we're talking about, let's say, a market crash coming, of course, if the market crashes, all stocks will kind of feel the pain. But I don't think this one will crash all the way back to where it was. This one has a bit of warranted growth. I think the only way this one would crash if Tesla comes in plummeting, and I think this one might follow. But in terms of this one here, what I've noticed lately is it's starting to have its own identity outside of a Tesla sympathy, and people are actually starting to believe in it. So that is my idea. That's my thinking about this one. I do believe this one, perhaps in, let's say, 10 years or 7 years, definitely will hold its value, and I think it's a solid company from what it looks like. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.